Okay, in this video, we're going to learn how to calculate imperfect square roots for any number, and we're going to end up getting decimal answers. And so let's begin. And these are the three problems that we're going to solve together. So this is an important rule. To the left of the decimal place, if you have two numbers, four numbers, six numbers, or any even numbers, we're going to think what number times itself will give us close to 57. And actually a number less than 57, because there's no number times itself is 57. And you don't want to go too much, then it won't work. Likewise, if you have three numbers to the decimal place, or any odd numbers like 5, 7, and so on, then what you do is you think to yourself, what number times itself will give us the first term, the 3. And we're going to solve all three problems. So I think, 7 times 7 is 49, 8 times 8 is 64, and so I'm going to take 7. So I'm going to put a 7 right here. And then what I'm going to do is subtract. We have 57, but we're going to subtract 49. 49 because 7 squared is 49. And we're going to get 8. Then the next step is we take the next two numbers. We have 8. Then we're going to put a 2. We have nothing else, so I'm going to put a 0. So 820. Now we take our 7, and we're going to double it. We always double it. And we're going to get 14. Now, I'm going to put a little placeholder here times another placeholder. Now, the placeholder is going to be a number. And so, for example, if I put 1, it's going to be 141 times 1, which is 141. And I'm trying to get as close to 820 as possible. And again, it can't be over 820. So I'm going to go ahead and pick 5. Again, this is more of a trial and error. So 145 times 5, we're going to get 725. Now I'm going to draw a little line, and so that's what I'm going to put. I'm going to put 5. Now if I did 6, it would be bigger than 820. And now this process repeats. We're going to get 820 minus 725, and we're going to get 95. And then I'm going to go ahead and add two zeros. So I have 9500 because there's no more numbers here. To get our 14, we doubled 7. This part we're also going to double, but we're not going to say 7.5. We're going to ignore the decimal and say 75. And 75 times 2 is 150. Now again, I'm putting a placeholder times a placeholder is equal to. We're trying to get as close to possible to 9,500. Now if I do a 1506 times 6, we're going to get 9036. So let's put a little line again. And so now I can say 9500 minus 9036 is equal to 464. Again, next we're going to add our two zeros, so we get 46400. Oh, and we said this piece was a 6, so I need to put our 6 right here. So now we have 7.56. We need to double it. Again, ignore the decimal, so 756 times 2, we're going to get 1512. And then we'll put our little placeholder number times a placeholder number. And so if I go ahead and put a 3 right here, a 3 right here, we're going to get 45369. Now again, if I put a 4, it's going to be too big. And so I'm going to put my 3 right here. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and stop. But if you go ahead and use a calculator, you're going to get 7.56306816 and a bunch of more numbers. But we're very close, 7.563. If you want to continue this process, you can, and you'll get closer and closer to the actual answer. Now we're going to solve our second problem. And it's also even, like we have two digits to the left of the decimal place. But I chose this problem for a very particular reason, and we're going to see why next. And so we think, what number times itself is very close to 37? And that's going to be 6 because 6 times 6 is 36. And again, you don't want to pick a number bigger than 37. And so I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to say I have 37 minus 36, and I get 1. And the next step, I add my next two numbers. So I have my 1, then I add another 1 and 0 because there's no more numbers here. Now I take my 6, I double it, I get 12. Put my placeholder number times my placeholder number. And so this is why this problem is unique. Now if I put a 1, I get 121 times 1, which is bigger than 110. So nothing works. But you can go ahead and put 0, because 120 times 0 is 0, which is less than 110. That's our closest number. So I'm going to go ahead and put 0. And so we can put a 0 right here. So we have 6.0. And so now we got to continue this process. So we can say we have 110 minus 0, which is 110. So next we're going to add our two zeros. So 110, add your two zeros. And we do the same thing. Now, instead of saying 6, we're saying 60. 60 times 2 is 120. Put your placeholder number times your placeholder number. And this time we're going to get 9. Because this number times this number, we get 10,881. So we can go ahead and put a 9 right here. And so now we subtract. So this number minus this number, and we're going to get 119. So again, add your two zeros, 1, 2, and we do the same process. So now we have 609 times 2. We're going to get 1218 placeholder times placeholder. So if we have 4 digits, so this piece right here is 5 digits. But if I put a 1, then I have 5 digits and it's going to be bigger. It's going to be 1218 1, which is bigger than this. So another 0 we have to put, and so we get 0. So I put a 0 right here. All right, we're going to repeat this only one more time. So again, we're going to take this number minus our 0, and we get the same number. And then we got to add our two zeros. And now we take this number, again, ignore the decimal, and we double it. And so we're going to get 12180. Put our placeholder times a placeholder. And so it's going to be a 9 and a 9. And this piece right here, if you use a calculator, you're going to get 10, 9, 6, 2, 8, 1. So it is less than this number, but very close. And so I can go ahead and put a 9 right here. And using a calculator, I get 6.090976933. So very close. I mean, if you keep on going with this process, you're getting closer and closer to this number. And again, it doesn't stop. We keep on, there's more digits here. Okay, this is our last problem. Now, to the left of the decimal place, there's 3 digits. Because there's 3 digits, we only focus on this first piece, this 3 right here. And we think to ourselves, what number times itself is very close to 3? And that's going to be 1, because 1 times 1 is 1, but 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 is bigger than 3. So I'm going to put a 1 right here. Now, same process. So we have 3 minus 1. Why 1? 1 times 1 is 1, and 3 minus 1 is 2. Now we take the next 2 digits. So we have 272. 272. And now we take this piece, we double it, we get 2. Our placeholder number times the placeholder number. So I'm going to go ahead and put 9. 29 times 9 is going to give us 261, very close to it. And so I can put a 9 right here. Now, I know I need to put a dot right here because let's think about this. 20 times 20 is 400. And so I know it's not going to be 190 something because 190 something is going to be a huge number. It's going to be way bigger than 372. So that's why I know to put my dot right here. And so now let's continue. We have 272 minus 261, and we're going to get 11. And so now we're going to add the next 2 digits. So 11, and now we can add 4 and no other numbers, so put 0. So now we take 19, we double it, we get 38. Put your placeholder number times your placeholder number is equal to, and it's going to be a 2 and a 2 because 382 times 2 is going to give us 764. And if you did 3, you're going to be too big. So I'm going to put a 2 right here. So same thing. 1140 minus 764, and we're going to get 376. So now we're going to add 2 more zeros, so 37600, and we're going to take 192, we're going to double it, and we're going to get 384. Put our placeholder number times your placeholder number is equal to. And so I know to put a 9 right here, a 9 right here, and I'm going to get 34641. Now, the reason I'm not showing all the work, because if I did 3849 times 9 and I show all the work, that's going to make this video very long. This video is mainly to show how you could go ahead and solve this kind of problem. And so I'm going to put my 9 right here. And we can probably go one more. So now we take our 37600 minus 34641. And when we subtract these two, we're going to get 2959. Add our 2 zeros. And now we take this big number, 1929, we times it by 2, and we're going to get 3858, placeholder number times placeholder number. And I'm going to go ahead and put 7, 7. And this gives us 270109. And again, if you did 8, it would be too big. So I'm going to put a 7 right here. Now, if you actually use the calculator, you're going to get 19.297668825, and so on. So again, everything has been correct, 19.297. If we went again, we would get our 6. And as a challenge, comment below why this method works or some observation that might lead to the reasoning. And if you don't know exactly why this works, but you have some sort of hypothesis, go ahead and comment below. And that's pretty much it for this video.